I'm going to speak about Nancy Gutherie. This case has me so mind boggled. I'm not getting emotional. But to think you've lived 86 years and this is, I pray she is alive. I just have the worst feeling, you guys. I pray my feelings are wrong. I want to go over the timeline and I want to give you my opinions of what is going on. Because a lot of this, it doesn't make sense to me. I don't know. We all know she disappeared. They reported her missing February 1st, but the last time she was seen was January 31st, Saturday evening. She was having dinner at her family's home. She takes an Uber to her family's home for dinner at 5:32 p.m. At 9:48 p.m., Guthrie is dropped off at her Tucson, Arizona home by a family member. I know the family member. The garage door opens. At 9:50, the garage door closes. So she's inside, she's safe. At 1:47 a.m., the doorbell camera is disconnected. At 2:12 a.m., the camera software detects movement. But there is no video available since Guthrie did not have an active subscription with the company, meaning the footage was not saved. I'm so confused by that because we have video footage of it. 2:38 a.m. Guthrie's pacemaker app disconnects from her phone. The family checks on her after she did not show up for church at 11:56 a.m. right before noon. Not even 10 minutes later, they call 911. I would too. She doesn't go to church. They go to check on her, find her not gone, boom. It's like 5 minutes later, they have 911 on the phone. Exactly. And it took the cops not even 12 minutes it took them to get there. They arrive and launch a search operation, including the use of drones and search dogs. 6:46, the Pima County Sheriff's Department posts on social media to announce the disappearance. Pima County Sheriff Chris Nano speaks to reporters near Guthrie's house and says he hopes it is a search and rescue mission. February 2nd, authorities on Monday morning announced that they believe Guthrie was kidnapped, abducted, or otherwise taken against her will. There was blood splatter and droplets found on her tile in front of her door. I haven't seen anything about inside the house. I'm reading for it, looking for it. Maybe I'll come across it. I don't know. And then KOLD TV says it received an email Monday night that appears to be a ransom note. The note includes a demand for money with a deadline set for 5 p.m. Thursday, and a second one for Monday, investigators said. Savannah Guthrie posted a message on Instagram on Monday night asking for people's prayers. And we all know Savannah is the co-host for the Today Show. And this is why I'm like, okay, it makes sense, you know. If you're going to do this, I guess, you know, you want somebody who you would think has the means, the money that you want, and it's high profile. A person familiar with the investigation tells Associated Press that the investigators found signs of forced entry at her home. Speaking to reporters, the Oval Office on Tuesday tells reporters that the situation is terrible. February 4th. So February 4th, they do a follow-up investigation at her property. And Savannah, she goes to social media, posts on social media, and is she speaking to the kidnappers that her family is ready to talk. They just want proof of life. They will pay. But then Thursday, February 5th, they don't get no proof. They don't hear nothing. They get nothing back from that. It's so odd to me. They have no proof that Nancy is still alive, but are holding out hope she is still out there. The DNA test I already told you, the blood found on the home's front porch showed it came from Guthrie. It's odd that it's only the front porch. To me, that, I mean, something could have happened right there, I guess. Maybe she fought them right there. I don't know. But the kidnapper, oh my lord. And that's all they have for the timeline. But they offer a $50,000 whereabout reward for her whereabouts. But there's way more. Way more. Let me go to another update, and because there was a second ransom. Here's my thing. The ransom note wanted Bitcoin in the amount of 9 million US dollars. Why say US dollars? I don't, we're in the USA. Nancy's in Arizona, unless it's not somebody from USA, but I'm just going to give you my opinion. In a minute, I'm not going to go there yet, but I am. I'm sorry, she's 84. I read 86 on another. This is crazy. The timeline, she wasn't supposed to be at church either. It was a friend's home. There is so much misinformation. It's crazy. I feel like there's a lot of back and forth, and there has even been a block to the federal FBI for evidence. They're refusing to hand over evidence to the FBI, the local police department. I'm so confused. What is going on with this case? I don't know. But let's look at the ransom notes. The reason why I want to talk about these ransom notes, because they weren't going to even report on what was in the note, right? They weren't going to put it out on the news. They weren't going to say what was in it. But TMZ, that's Gypsy Rose's favorite little station, got a copy of it, and they didn't post the entirety of it, but they did give a vague explanation of what was in the note. And that note, which KOLD TV did also, and it said that they demanded millions in Bitcoin cryptocurrency, provided a specific Bitcoin address, which has been verified, the wallet has been verified, the validity of the address, and when they first reported on it, it wasn't nothing demanding or anything like that, but here it is. The letter included a deadline and an element of or else. That seems demanding, and like her life is in danger if you don't. The family did ask for proof of life, and they have heard zero back from the kidnapper. So, yeah. Now, they did detain someone and release him. He ended up being a DoorDash driver, I do know that. And I'm going to show you this. This is kind of crazy to me, too.
So,
Yeah, it's like,
and they said you can go home?
yeah.
And how did they treat the people you were with, your girl, your child?
I don't want to speak
Yeah,
about
no,
that.
understood.
You know what I mean?
How's your family? They
Well, they're all
scared
in
everybody. I was going to say, they scared everybody, huh?
Yeah, they're all in shock right now.
Did they damage the house when they came in? What did they do?
They broke the door. What else? The garage door in the back. Yeah.
So what are you going to do now?
I'll try to clear my name. I didn't do anything. I hope they get the suspect, because I'm not it. They better do their job and find the suspect that did it so they can clear my name. I'm done. Look at what I'm putting my family through.
You're on
Not just
national
them.
news now.
Not just them. Even my parents in Tucson.
So again, I'm so confused that they said they didn't have any video, and now they do. Now let's look at the kidnapper and reporting it was possibly professional. He seems very unprofessional, and that it they're not going to say if it was targeted or not. She definitely was targeted if that's what's going on. Now, if this is an inside job, they would know she didn't have a subscription. That's why they took their time and wasn't worried about her camera. Maybe the neighbors, but not this one. Makes sense now to me. And he has a mouth flashlight, like a bite light they call it. I've never heard of that. This would be something they would think of instantly. There's cameras everywhere. And then I seen today that they were asking for neighbors to look at their Ring camera. We're 2 weeks in and you're just asking for Ring camera footage from other neighbors? I'm confused. That should have been done within 24 hours, unless they did. And the local police department isn't sharing that either. And now the federal, the FBI is asking. I don't know. This is so confusing. I don't get why. I'll read to you what they're saying. They don't want certain items. The glove that was found, and I guess a glove was found in something else, but they want the DNA from the glove tested, and they don't want it sent off. They do. It has become very weird. So he did have an Ozark Trail backpack, and they said he's like 5'9" to 5'10" because they've been back at her house yesterday, and they were getting, just from the Ring doorbell, they could figure out his height. And I want to go into, I guess it's like a conspiracy theory of the brother-in-law who I guess is in financial ruin and needs money. And to be honest, I do see a resemblance. I do. And that would be her son-in-law. But I'll get into that in a minute. This is the glove. We don't know if it's the glove, but I'm just confused on the battle of the DNA testing and blocking evidence to the feds. I'm so confused by that. Why would you?
The New York Post says they were there when this glove was recovered. Authorities have not said if that glove or any gloves sent for analysis are the ones seen on the person outside Nancy's home. But every potential item, a possible new clue 12 days into this agonizing search for Savannah's mom that so far has yielded no suspect or persons of interest. Authorities also today broadening their request for surveillance video, sending this alert out to people within a 2-mile radius of Nancy's home, asking for all footage that includes vehicles, people, or anything deemed out of the ordinary from January 1st through February 2nd, the day after Nancy was abducted. Videos like this one showing a man with 2 backpacks attempting to open a gate at a home about 4 miles away at almost exactly the same time Nancy's Ring camera was being disabled. 2 officials briefed on the matter tell NBC News the man in this footage has been cleared.
Each night we turn the alarm on, which we hadn't been doing for several years.
David Romano, who lives around the corner from Nancy, says investigators have come to his home twice now and specifically asked what cars they drive and if they have a truck.
No, we don't drive a truck. We're all very sympathetic here in the neighborhood. We'd like to help in some way.
I think that would mean if you're asking if they have a truck, then they're looking for a truck. They know something that they're not telling us, because I've not seen specifically that they're searching for a truck. So the news might be leaking information that they don't want out. I don't know, they're being very tight-lipped about it, but you have a ransom for $9 million US. There was a second ransom note. Annie Elise did a short video on it, and let's go over that really fast, because this is where I'm not getting it, you guys. They didn't return proof of life. They didn't respond when they said we will pay. The deadline came and went. Nothing. And then there's this other, and it's a very small amount of money compared to the millions. Now, and then I'll give you my opinion after, but let's listen to Annie's video. Okay, I'm gonna stop it. I don't want to get like a copyright, but I'm gonna stop and speak as much as possible.
Wednesday morning, and we have a lot of updates in the Nancy Gutherie case, so let's just get into them. Starting with just moments ago, TMZ reported a new note that was received in connection with the abduction. This note was not from the kidnapper. However, according to them, in this note, they are saying they will rat out the kidnapper if 1 Bitcoin, which is worth approximately like $65,000, is transferred into the wallet. And I'm going to show you right here what it says. It says they received the note just before 5 a.m.
Okay. So it wasn't from the actual kidnappers. Now I understand, but there was a ransom note and then this, and I'm assuming it's trying to say they're going to rat them out, and then it's a group of people they know who has her. I don't know. I'm going to give you. They said they want the name of the individual. If I had that info, I would ask for more than $65,000. I would. I don't know. But in my experience, and I know you're gonna like, oh my gosh, yes, I had my own trauma, but like I said, my son is struggling with his mental health and his addiction, especially the past 10 years. It's been horrible. But throughout that time, I spoke to him every day. I see him every day. He's still my child, right? Well, it was around my birthday. This is exactly probably, it was around February 1st, actually. February 3rd, he was released from jail, and he always calls me, or always would come straight to my house. I didn't know how he was going to call me because they lost his shoes, phone, everything, and when they booked him. I thought, okay, well, he'll come to me. And I even go driving looking for him down the road to see if he was walking that way, to see if I could find him to help him. I didn't want him walk. I didn't know if they gave him shoes or anything. But the next day, nothing. I worry, but I'm like, I don't know, I called the police department. They just said he was released. And then they said, oh, actually, he wasn't released from here. We transferred him like a week before. They released him to a whole other county for overload reasons. I called that police department. They're like, I've never heard that. We don't take overload like from another. They did my son. Don't know what was going on, but he ended up not even being released from that county, a whole different county. So I go driving down that path, like the drive would be, probably from where I lived about 30 to 40-minute drive. I'm thinking, oh my God, where do I look for him? I'm like, okay, he will come to me. If I don't hear from him, and let me tell you, in the state of Florida, if you do not have a medical emergency or they threaten to harm, you have to have physically heard the person threaten to harm themselves within the last 24 hours, or they don't file a missing person. You don't get that here in Florida. They don't do it for adults. It doesn't work that way. There has to be like medication they need daily that they're not taking, or the threat that I just told you. That's it. That's the only way they'll do it. So what do? I'm like, you know what? I'll go to social media. I had flyers printed out. Now, when I went to go print the flyers out, they did it for free. A week had passed. I hadn't heard from my son. By this time, I'm panicked. And they released him at like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. He walked at 3 a.m. down a road that is full of like, what are the trucks called? The big freight trucks, tons of truckers up and down, shipping, truckers, whatever. up and down the highway, it's heavily trafficked, right? And I'm thinking, what if he got ran over? What if somebody tried to rob him or something, thought he had something and hurt? I legitimately was looking in dumpsters, in ditches. I was looking I was watching buzzards in the sky on the path that he would have taken, any possible path, just to see. To me, I'm thinking, he could have gotten picked up and said they give him a ride, and some serial killer, picked him up. I don't know. Even though I know my son had his issues, he never ever not contacted me. But I will say the reason he went to jail that time, he was embarrassed and he was scared. But let me tell you, the amount of people that called me, I bought a burner phone because I wasn't going to put my phone number out, right? The amount, and my personal phone, when I played the messages on my TikTok too, such a coincidence, I can't even explain it, but someone butt dialed my number or a woman was talking, and it was like she was hiding the phone from the person who had the conversation, and they were talking about, I'm telling you, it sounded like they were talking about a red rum and what she was forced to see and why he wasn't talking about it. This is why I really flipped out. That is what really led me to get very serious. Well, it did. It did. It went all over social media. And I thought I was going to have a nervous breakdown. The amount. I said, please do not contact me if you do not have any information. Just contact me if you. It was nonstop. It was so overwhelming that I couldn't do it. I had to give the phone to my daughter because the amount of messages that I got and the kind of messages that I got tons of love, yes. And I know tons of people were like, I know you said just for info, but I want you. Tons of psychics called me, tons. But tons of people saying they had my son, and if I didn't pay them, that I would find him in a field or a lake, in a swamp. And then people just saying they witnessed him being red rummed. Now, I told the police, laughed at me and brushed it off, said this is typical, you're just going to get a bunch of crazies. And I get that, but I didn't know that, on top of the voicemails that I had received before I even contacted the police. I was in a heightened state, I could never imagine living in a parent's shoes for the rest of my life, not knowing where my child was, adult or small, ever again. That was the most traumatizing. And then, of course, it was 2 weeks. I really thought he wasn't alive. I did. I know what happened. He was embarrassed, but he also was under the influence. So I thought, he'll just come apologize, He did not. I don't know how to explain it to you, except I truly thought something really happened to him because he didn't have anybody here to help him, right? And I hung posters up everywhere. I was handing flyers out everywhere. There were people from Texas coming with boats, four-wheelers, ATVs, everything. When I say there were 3 different research people that were coming, and it was one of the biggest places in Texas. They were coming in 2 days to help start because the police weren't going to, right? For free, they were doing it. I had a $2,000 reward for any info if anyone had information, And let me tell you, the amount of people requesting money from me saying they had him, the amount of people saying they knew where he was, that either they did it or it was cruel. It was cruel. And they wanted me to talk about it, and I didn't. I didn't talk about it at the time. It was cruel how people could do that. I went to walk out the door. I got criticized so bad too. Well, why are you wearing, I had on a sweatsuit. It had a jacket, a sweats, but on the side, I wear my clothes loose, around my neck. I told you guys that, but it had dropped right here on my shoulder. Look at from what I wore to how I looked to, people were questioning everything and judging me and my son. Hey, I get it, but I guess and blaming me that his addiction was my fault, I didn't raise him right. I get that too, I will take that. But you can do everything right, and your child is still going to make their own choice and decisions in their adult life. That's all I can say. And he tells me to this day that I am the best mom, the most amazing mom. And I say this, that sometimes I think people can't beat their addictions. They can't. It is hard. Lots of people can't beat it, right? Do I want to fight with my son and punish him because I don't agree with his life? No. That was the most traumatizing situation. I will never turn my back on my child. I won't enable him, but I'll always be there and give him food and a place to sleep and clothe him. Whatever I can do, I will. And I have a lot. And you know who doesn't have to deal with any of it? His dad. He was never there when they were kids, and he didn't come when we thought something happened to him. Even my daughter, we all thought something happened to him. It just, if you knew my son, it wasn't him. My birthday came and gone, and he didn't show up. The year before that, he bought this big, huge bouquet of flowers for me and a card. It wasn't I'm telling you, even with his struggles, he still, put effort in. But I was walking out. Oh, and I had the flyers printed out. Office Depot printed them out for free for me. But I didn't notice it when she printed them. And it was like, it was a whole thing of, I think I did 1,000. I can't remember. It was a lot. She misspelled his last name. I didn't notice it until the next day when I went to go. That evening when I got them done, I was just so happy I had them. I had a flyer made and put out and the phone number. I even got questioned about that, and I had to make a video. I didn't see it. What do I do? Go back and tell her, hey, you messed this up, even though you did it for free and saved me hundreds of dollars. Okay? You misspelled one letter in his last name, and I mentioned it on there. Hey, this is an error. What was what was I gonna do? Then my daughter printed off for me. We just went and got ink and started doing our own because you just couldn't the amount of judgment, let me tell you. But this is something that I question, is it genuine? Because I know in my experience, the cruelty that the human race has within them is unimaginable. I don't know if the 65K is real, but people will do anything for money. I'm just going to put that out there. My son came home safe, of course. I've told you guys he's still here right now, but he still has his struggles. But even when I went to go, The next day when I finally got the really good posters on good paper and everything, I went to go start posting those. He had saw my poster at Wawa. And he came to me. Finally. He was avoiding me though and hiding from everybody and me. And I made a video saying there's a search team coming tomorrow. Maybe he saw that. I don't know. Because he had a phone. He already got a phone somehow. My point is, I walked out that door and my downstairs neighbor said, Amanda. And it was a guy who bugged me all the time. He constantly hit on me. And I was like, what? And I didn't even think about my camera picking up any conversation, anything like that. And he said, Amanda. And I was like, what? And I turned around because I did not like this guy at all. He was so, And I turned around looking, it was my son on a bike. And I just took off running, screaming to him. I even got, oh, you videoed that? No, I didn't video it. My Ring doorbell did. My God. This is a nightmare for them. My experience was he just didn't want to be found. Thank God. Most of the time, that is it. There is so much more, though. And the coincidence, and we've talked about it so much on my TikTok channel, too. Everything that happened, I'm telling you, my life is crazy. And the things that were being sent to my phone, and whatever those voicemails were, crazy. Emails, texts, and then everything after. It was a huge eye-opening experience for me. Of course, I've always feared that. I would never want to have to look for my child forever, but anybody I love, for that fact. Them going through this, and I do not feel she is okay. Just from the DNA, her age, I feel like something took a turn. Maybe it was supposed to be a kidnapping. And she's on a pacemaker. You don't think her heart could give out? I do. I hope she's alive. My God, I do. I pray she is alive. This is so... It hurts to see someone live this long and their life be taken like this if this happens. I cannot take it. I mean, for me, I couldn't take it. So I can't imagine the family.
And the sender claims that they have tried unsuccessfully to reach Savannah's brother, Cameron, and her sister, Annie. The note goes on to say, if they want the name of the individual involved, then I want 1 Bitcoin to the following wallet. Time is more than relevant. And there is apparently a legit Bitcoin address that is linked in with this note. TMZ forwarded this note to the FBI, and it's unclear how legit it is. Personally, I think if somebody is sitting on valuable information in what is like such a high profile case, they'd probably demand more than 1 Bitcoin.
I agree with Danny on this. I don't know. I just can't imagine that they would ghost the response and not take the money and not respond back to that. Why are they not responding? Something happened and it isn't adding up. Now let's look at the images of the person that came to their house, her home. And this is where I read the DNA splatter suggests Nancy was bleeding from either the hands or face, experts say. And that is just so sad. Oh my God. I just can't believe the stuff that's been put out on the news that was incorrect and has had to be continually updated. Like, she wasn't meant to be at church. She meant to be at a friend's house now. I do believe she was abducted. I do. It's been 13 days and nothing. And of course, we all know Savannah, and she did do a plea for her return to social media. You can tell they're just tired, and I get it. And on the 7th, another. We received your message and we understand. We beg you now to return our mother to us so we can celebrate with her. This is the only way we will have peace. This is very valuable to us, and we will pay. And nothing. No developments, no nothing. You know, she's asked for help. But here's an image. You can see the flashlight. He takes grass to cover it, as we saw in the video. I want to look at his eyes more. Let me get those photos. So here we have, you can see the GUN. It's right there on the front. We've seen that in the video. He has on gloves. He has on the backpack. And then, of course, this mask. And he has the bite light, they call it. Looks like something's under his jacket right there, too. But, of course, he has stuff in his backpack. And looking at his shoes, I don't know. The shoes look odd to me. Don't they look odd to you? Like, it doesn't look like tennis shoes. It doesn't look like maybe boots, but no. It almost looks like socks. It looks like he's wearing socks. I'm going to have to look at the video. But look at the eyes. You can't really even see his eyebrows. This is not eyebrows because that is the inside. It's like the shadow to me of his mask. And they're saying that is eyebrows. But look at the shape of his eye. And I'm going to show you who I think it looks like. But look at that right there. The shape of the head too. And his body. That's so weird. It is the shape of his eyes. It's this eye, the way it shapes up in his lashes. Some people say it could be female. I don't think that's a female. I mean, I guess, but I don't think it's a female. I don't see that is not eyebrows right there. And I keep seeing people talk about the eyebrows, but they're covered. Well, this answers my questions because she didn't have a subscription, but they can get our video even if it's not recording. FBI and Pima County Sheriff's Department said they were able to recover footage from a Google Nest camera outside, and I have a Nest camera, outside the Arizona home. I like it, but that scares me. The missing mother of today co-host Savannah Gutherie by extracting residual data located in back-end systems. How is it possible to retain these videos? Wow. Here you go. But many are questioning how footage was recovered from a doorbell camera that officials said was disconnected with no active subscription to store video. With a free Google Nest plan, the video should have been deleted within 3 to 6 hours long after she was reported missing. That is crazy. But Patrick Jackson, a former NSA data researcher and chief technology officer for privacy and security company Disconnect, added there is kind of this old saying that data is never deleted, it's just renamed. Okay. Most doorbell cameras also have a tamper mode, a security feature that alerts a user when a device is being disconnected or damaged. He believes this may serve as a signal for companies to hold on to data for a longer period of time. It knows if that device goes offline, and if the last event was tamper detected and it's motion event, it could tag it in a way where Google may not delete that and may know that this could have some value to some law enforcement. Okay, that makes sense.
This is who federal law enforcement officials want to speak to. The FBI released this surveillance footage showing a masked, armed individual outside of the home of Nancy Gutherie, tampering with her home security camera on the morning of her disappearance. The person is wearing a ski mask, backpack, and gloves, and has what appears to be a handgun of some type in a holster at the waist. Now,
I think that alone, that's terrifying. Why was she bleeding? I don't know. Now, like I said, the son-in-law has been questioned, so we'll see.
now, some of the images are a little bit clearer as well. We're going to cycle through them in a little bit, but just to remind everybody, Nancy Gutherie has not been seen since the night of January 31st when she was dropped off outside of her home.
Directly to the camera, try to reach to mess with it, and they appear to be armed. Combine that with that critical 40-minute window that you highlighted there earlier. This individual is a key focus of this case. Right now, agents are analyzing the most basic details, the estimated height, the build, the way this person walks, and what they were wearing. They're asking the public to do the same, pay attention to those details, and if you recognize this individual, to give them a call.
Looks
the
like a
FBI
mustache.
offering a $50,000 reward. Their tip number 1-800-CALL-FBI.
What are we hearing from the Gutherie family?
So this is what we do. We throw out suggestions, right? I definitely think somebody has a mustache. Tommaso Cioni is in Arizona cooperating in the Nancy Gutherie probe. He was last seen February 3rd, staying with the family at a nearby mansion. He's a family friend of the son-in-law. But they say he looks like that is her son-in-law. Let's look at some more pictures. Oh my gosh. Can we see some more photos of him? Guess not. And I do want to point out they were at Annie's house a lot. It was extensive. It was very extensive, but that doesn't really mean anything, right? It doesn't. They could just be checking every little, not leaving any stone unturned, you know? I don't know. This is not. Yeah. So Ashley Benefield, she doubles down, and this was just 2 days ago, because Annie's car is still in evidence. They did seize her car. I'm just saying. Yeah. I don't disagree. He was a prime suspect, she said. That's what she said. But Pima County Sheriff Department quickly disputed that claim, asserting that investigators had not identified a suspect or a person of interest in this case. Why would they say? Why would they put it out there if they did? If they do have someone and they're waiting on DNA evidence, something, they're not just going to say, yeah, that's our key suspect. I don't think it would be just him. Or hopefully not Annie. I don't know. I don't know. Banfield said their source, Everyday Sense, has stood by that reporting, and that is the thinking as of the day after Miss Guthrie was reported missing. There are a couple things I reported in that. Tuesday, last week, number 1, Annie Guthrie's car was towed. Yes. The sheriff did confirm the car was towed. Okay, that's great. The cameras were smashed. Now we've seen the person coming up and trying to, as the sheriff now uses language, tamper and disconnect. But Michael Ruiz is reporting that there are small glass fragments seen underneath the camera in that front entrance, which would suggest that if he couldn't grab it with hands or grab it with the shrubs, I don't believe he's trying to cover the camera with the shrubs, by the way. You don't get dangling flowers to cover a camera. I believe that he was actually trying to see if his fist is really tightly around that shrub. He was trying to get it between the Nest Cam and its bracket to pull it off. Oh. He was testing the strength of the shrubbery, they say. I don't know about all that. It is a tiny space because I have one. That's so true. The back door is wide open. Wow. Sheriff was asked about that. I will not confirm that. Didn't deny it, but he wouldn't confirm it. Also said there was blood in the house and said that at this time, and again, this is within about 24 hours after the crime was committed. The brother-in-law may be the prime suspect in this case. These are dynamic investigations. Are dynamic. They reserve the right to change their minds. They often to get some evidence, information. I don't disagree with them. Yeah, he did get a lot of heat over it, but... Or she, sorry. I don't know why I said he. There you go. And then I'm going to leave it with this. This is Dominic Evans, and he's a bandmate of Nancy Guthrie's son-in-law, Tommaso Ciono. This was taken in 2007. I don't know why this was being pulled up too, but you guys, let me know what you think. I just thought we would talk about this. This case is really bugging me. I pray she's okay. Just let her come home. Oh my God, I hope they're not being mean to her. Oh, this is bugging me, you guys. Any missing cases, but anytime this gets suppressed on TikTok so bad, I mainly would repost and share and speak on missing cases, if anything. No, that gets shut down fast on there for some reason, and even here it does, I noticed. So we'll try this video, let me know what you think, and then I think my next video I'll be talking about the stepbrother from the Carnival Cruise, and I would also love to talk about a few of the Tempe murders. I would love to talk about that case. Yes, I would. Let me know what you guys think. Give me your thoughts and opinions below. This is just my thoughts and opinions. This is just a ledge. I'm just giving you what I found on the internet. You do your own research. That's what we're all here doing, right? Until we get further concrete something from the police, we don't know. We're all guessing, right? I just hope she comes home safe. I really do.